What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today I'm giving you guys the biggest winners and losers from the second day of the combine. That is going to be kind of the bench pressing for the defensive linemen, as well as the majority of the athletic drills for the defensive backs. So if you guys are new, feel free to stick around, like, comment, subscribe. You guys know how to use YouTube at this point. Let's get to 7,500, and then we'll be on our way to 10K. Let's get this rocking. Starting off with the winners, of course. Cam Smith is somebody who I have been hypercritical on. I thought he was going to be running 4.5 to 4.6. That's what his game tape says. So I am very intrigued to see if maybe he revolutionized his own running style, maybe got into a little bit better shape. And hey, I'm more than willing to give him a shot. Of course, I do think teams that do like to have a little bit more grapple, like the Eagles, you could look at even the Panthers in there, the Lions, those three teams, I would love to see him on. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be worth one of those higher first-round picks. There are guys in here like Christian Gonzalez that I did not include because I already thought their stocks were extremely high. I'm trying to project where these guys are going to go, so that's why I have my projection movement. But yeah, Cam Smith, he actually moved up from a 68 to up to a 70 based on his 4.4, I believe 4.45 performance, but that's still great. He did impressive on the jumps as well. That's exactly what he needed to do, and I honestly hope that he played a lot worse and a lot slower, and I hope that he goes into the NFL with this new build, with this new athleticism, because I'd love to see him be able to just elevate his play with that new level of athleticism, because it really would be awesome to see. It's somebody who I was hoping on. I was putting him into that top 10 for a hot minute, but yeah, definitely somebody where he was able to totally revamp his game in terms of his overall athletic ability. But 180 pounds is definitely a little bit worrisome at that 6'1" frame. I mean, again, it's pretty hard to be a boundary corner when you're going up against guys who are 230 pounds and, you're literally 50 pounds lighter than them. So it is a slight concern. It is. But I think that he would be able to use his press abilities a little bit better than some other guys at that 180 mark. Next, we got JPJ. The only reason I put him on here is because, one, his wingspan is enormous. Not really a big surprise. You can kind of just look at him and just tell that this guy's Kevin Durant-like arms. But when you do look at that 4.45 speed or 4.46 speed, doesn't really matter. He tested in the 4.4s. That's exactly what he needed to. A lot of people were saying he might test in the 4.5s, and I didn't believe it. I thought he was a 4.4s player, and you know what? He tested that way. That's awesome. Still going to be my number 2 player in the class, if not move up to number 1. Just awesome player. Obviously, a team like the Steelers, where his dad played, would be great. I still think the Eagles and the Lions are going to be prime locations for a lot of these defensive backs. Just, again, really a solid performance. And, he does have that size, and, it's not like he's a fluke. He's 193 pounds. That's not bad. And he does have that crazy length that could also boost his range. So, love that for him. The explosiveness drills weren't incredible, but honestly, when you do have that length, it can make up for it at the next level. Next, we got DJ Turner. This guy ran literally 4.2s, which is crazy. I didn't see that on tape. I had him rated pretty highly in terms of speed, not in the 4.2s. But yeah, an incredible job. Obviously, I do think he might be into that slot corner mold at that 5'11", 178 range, but I don't think it needs to be in that. I think he can definitely play boundary corner, and I was projecting him to be a boundary. I think he's going to be a stud, and he was somebody who I was very high on before the combine, and someone who I thoroughly believe in now. I mean, I love it. I can see a team that might be losing Kenny Moore, being very excited for him. Obviously, slot corner mold would be a good role for him, even though you don't really need him to be there. So I would love to see him in that tweener role. And then, Tampa Bay's losing a shit ton of DBs. It would not be too mad to see him go there. But yeah, that mid-second territory definitely feels like a good spot for him to go. Then we got Sidney Brown. Not really a huge move up in my eyes. It was hard to determine where he was going to go. But this offseason's been awesome to him. He's been absolutely dynamic at the Senior Bowl, even in one-on-ones. And then now he's testing out very well in terms of his overall ability. 211 pounds as well at testing at those high speeds. That's incredible. And he was some of the best in terms of explosiveness. To me, that's exactly what you're looking for. And I just think it's absolutely amazing. Of course, being sub 6 foot does kind of limit your role, but not really much. It's very small nitpicks. I'm having a hard time not talking about him into that first round territory especially when we go into the losers of the mock draft. But I forgot to give this guy a shout out yesterday. I mean, I did, but he put up the most bench reps after putting up an absolutely phenomenal athletic performance yesterday. Somebody where I delegated, okay, the projection's wrong. I forgot to update that. I had a weird feeling I forgot to update one thing. I trusted some people to actually eval him, and they told me don't even take your time. He's absolutely awful. I loved him 2 years ago, and then injuries just kind of derailed where he was going, and I'm excited to get back and watch a player who I used to really love. So that's just a note to myself to the one player that I listen to people and not needing to watch yet. It's time. It's time to watch him because he's awesome. He's a great player, and I hope to God he is the player that he was 2 years ago. I think he had some ACL injury in there, but yeah, definitely it was unfortunate that the one time I did not see someone with my own eyes and took someone else's opinion ends up biting me in the ass. But in the perfect way, because it ended up with him being absolutely awesome and proving me wrong in the perfect way. Teams like the Rams that just lost Bobby Wagner would be great. Adding in, potentially taking over Kaiser White or Edwards for the Eagles would be awesome. And then potentially Shaq Thompson there. I believe Auburn's in Alabama, so pretty damn close going there to Carolina. Good fits overall. But let's go to those biggest losers. Andre Carter, man, this offseason's been absolute shit to this poor guy. He's still 270 pounds, and I think that might be wrong. I think I forgot to update that. That looks like, I think he's 6'5", 258 pounds. Still incredible size. It's just unfortunate. He does have the build, but 11 bench press reps today. He didn't test very well either in terms of his explosiveness. And even Lucas Van Ness got 17 bench reps. Like, I could have included him in this, but he's had a pretty solid all-around go. But yeah, just not doing well. He's had a really bad offseason. So I would not I'm being optimistic by saying he's a 4th-round pick, because he very well might end up being like a 5th, 6th, 7th rounder. Just, it's really weird. But I mean, I'm just putting the fits as teams that could totally use him as kind of like a hybrid wide 9 type of dude. But, it's kind of embarrassing. Jalen Jones, one of my guys, I already knew he was not going to test very well, but 4.56 or 4.57, just not necessarily as slow as I was hoping for. I did feel like he was going to be 4.5 to 4.6 range. I was just hoping it might have been 4.51. Which, yeah, maybe he took one step offline and then it could have been corrected. We'll see at the pro day if anything changes, but I don't really think so. He does look genuinely slow. So he's still at 200 pounds. That's incredible build. Maybe you can put him to safety or use him in off coverage. I think the NFC East is a pretty good spot for him to go. Regardless, I think you have some good DCs that know how to maximize the value of their cornerbacks. But yeah, he gets his hands on people. I'd love to see what he can do in the NFL. Just, that role is definitely going to be limited if you are at that almost 4.6 speed. Then you got Emmanuel Forbes, and he tested out like a fucking baller today. 4.3 speed, incredible incredible athleticism overall. But there were some images going around, and it was like, holy shit, this guy added 10 pounds of muscle. He had a before and after picture after a month and a half, and he looked like a different being in terms of his physicality. And I was like, wow, okay, you know what? It says he's listed 180 pounds. This means he's probably up to 190. The muscle weighs a lot more than fat, and he looks bigger and more muscular. Yeah, he's 166. I am 5'9" and 165 pounds. I don't think that I'm that large, and I am pretty small compared to that. I mean, pretty small compared to what a lot of people think. He is taller than me and at the exact same weight. And he's going to be going up against guys like A.J. Brown in the NFL, like T. Higgins. Yeah, that's not good. And this is a guy who was my cornerback number 2. I thought he was going to hit that 190 mark, and I was like, dude, this guy could be pushing for a lot of people's corner ones. Man, that hurts. 166 pounds. You could say all you want about the size. It's real. It's definitely real. physics will never be non-existent. We can't just say the exceptions to the rules like Devontae Smith and like Marcus Jones, like that. Those guys are like basically gonna change how the rule is. Usually, guys cannot handle certain levels of force. I don't know if Emmanuel Forbes can, and that scares the shit out of me. And he might just become a pure slot. And I hope to God he doesn't. Maybe at his pro day he'll be 175, and then he'll still test in the 4.3s. If that happens, awesome. But I'm genuinely scared. This could be a detriment to him. I don't know if he should have come to the combine. And yeah, no, it's not good. Not good. But teams like the Steelers could use him in the slot or on the boundary. We're pretty good at doing that. Of course, Kenny Moore. And then, I've just listed teams that are looking for a slot corner. Brian Branch. There's a couple other guys I'll mention after him. But yeah, Brian Branch was awesome. They're at Bama. He ran 4.58, which is much slower than I think any of us thought. I thought he might have been one of those dudes who might test in the 4.4s. Just very unfortunate. He wasn't very explosive at all. And then, for somebody who's getting some momentum as that number 8 overall pick to Atlanta, that has cooled off really quickly. And this guy very well might be Atlanta's selection just in round 2. And that's pretty scary because you do see guys like Sidney Brown who, the more you dig into the tape, the more you love. They're testing out very well and they have good tape. And that can translate over a lot better to the NFL than pretty solid athleticism with, pretty damn good tape. And it's not like a Kyle Hamilton thing. He's not 6'4", 220. This guy's 6 foot 190. It's not like he's 210 pounds. I mean, Sidney Brown has 21 pounds on the guy. So definitely a concern. Projection is not early second to mid fourth. Caught myself again. No, is probably going to be a top 15, which was where I was going to project him. Top 15, probably sliding to early second. So caught myself there too. Yeah, that was a slip up on graphics. But that is going to be the video. Yeah, you guys can see it's an old slide deck. But that's going to be the video. Other guys to unfortunately have dishonorable mentions. It's probably going to be Brandon Joseph. He tested out very poorly. And that's something that sucks. I was hoping that he'd be able to take a rise, but I said it myself. He did not have the juice that he did back in 2020. And, my former number 5 player at the start of the year, a couple years ago, is probably going to be UDFA potentially. And that hurts. That hurts a lot. But that is the video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me as always. See you on the far side. Peace.